I get asked two things very, very often. And one of them is, how do I lose body fat? The second one is always, how do I gain muscle tissue? These are the two things that so many guys want. And I understand, because aesthetically, those are the things that make us look a little bit more manly, right? We want to have big muscles. We want to be lean. And in fact, a lot of us want to be shredded. We want to be able to see a six-pack of abs. I get it. And I have a different way of kind of thinking about this stuff. There's this aesthetic component, which I completely understand. And for me, just in my personal experience, many years ago, it was always my intention to be a big muscular guy, because I grew up skinny and I'm still a skinny guy. And being a skinny guy, you kind of get picked on for being skinny. So in my early 20s, I had a stint where I was doing some more bodybuilding style stuff with the intention of trying to get bigger muscles. So I was lifting heavy weights, and then I was also advised to eat a lot of food. Because if you really want to gain size, there's a correlation between the amount of food that you're eating and the size of your body, right? There's something there. So I was eating a ton of food, like so much. And I was getting bigger. I'm 160, 165 pounds soaking wet right now. I was able to get up to 185 pounds. And it wasn't all just muscle tissue. I also had some fat on me as well. I just didn't look as healthy. So I was kind of big and bulky for me and kind of puffy looking. And I remember, like, I didn't feel as athletic. I didn't feel as good. And quite honestly, the work that I was doing to maintain that size was a little bit silly. And I even had this sense, and looking back, I have this sense even more, that in order for someone to really increase muscle size, at least dramatically, or even to decrease body fat and get into like the single-digit body fat numbers, oftentimes requires some unhealthful habits. So in other words, me eating constantly through the day, and there was even a time where I was waking up in the middle of the night drinking a protein shake so I wouldn't go catabolic. Like, that's how crazy it was. So, that's arguably unhealthy. And I sort of felt unhealthy, looking back. And if we try to lose too much weight, if we try to lose too much body fat, the same kind of thing can happen, right? We can starve ourselves. We can get on some kind of crazy different programs that get us very, very lean, but not only are they unsustainable, they're just not that helpful. So then after going through a health scare of my own, I decided to completely change my views around my aesthetic self. I no longer was interested in what my body looked like. It became very clear to me that the one thing that I really wanted was to be healthy. Because I'm a cancer survivor. I won't get into that story, but when I had cancer, I spent 3 years fighting this disease. And I remember just thinking, like, all I want is just to be healthy. Like, I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to, do treatments. Like, I just wanted to be healthy. And I made that my mission. And when I changed my mission to just chasing health, I decided, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to eat really good food. I'm going to do some exercise, but I'm going to train more just for performance than I am aesthetics. Right? I'm just going to train for health and performance. So I just want my body to function really well, right? I figure that's a big part of health, at least in my opinion. So that's what I did. I did that for years and years and years and years and years and years. And my body just naturally just went to this 160, 165. And I've spent a lot of my years, most of my adult years, in single-digit body fat percentages. I never trained for abs, but somehow I got abs. I did train for big muscles. Back in the day, I kind of got big muscles, but my muscles are much smaller now. But the thing is, they perform very, very well. And I feel just so much more healthful. And my belief around this is that genetically we have a very healthy body fat, and genetically we have a very healthy muscle tissue size. Not everybody is meant to be a big giant weightlifter, and not everybody is meant to be super, super ripped, like Fight Club ripped. Like, genetically, we all kind of have a sort of quote unquote normal, healthy set point. And when you just do the right things, a lot of the right things, your body just naturally goes to that place. And that's what I did. That's been my strategy, and that's what's gotten me here. And a lot of the folks that I work with, they don't get huge, and they don't get super, super lean. Some do, some don't. But the most important thing is that they're healthy. And again, there's a range here, right? Like, there's a range for body fat, there's a range for muscle tissue. I know that I just wouldn't work very well with 200 pounds of muscle. I'm not I'm just genetically not a big giant guy. And my body seems to be very healthy, right around 10%, 8-10% is kind of my range. And again, everybody's gonna be a little bit different there. But again, I think the most important thing is that we chase health more than anything else and just allow sort of nature to take your body to the place that it wants to go. Anything outside of that, I would consider to be a little bit unhealthful.